I'm going to talk a bit about my leadership style paper. Um, okay, we'll get started. So the three assessments that I chose were the Riso-Hudson Enneagram Type Indicator, the Conflict Style Questionnaire, and the Leadership Orientation. And the reason I chose these were, well, I was curious about the Enneagram since I was somewhat familiar with it from the past, more like on a personality type of scale. And I thought it'd be interesting to see how it relates to leadership style. I I liked the simplicity of the leadership orientation assessment and thought that that would be a appropriate type of tool to give to my supervisors to review on me. I just was curious to see what they would score me on. And the conflict style questionnaire was because I am self-aware that I tend to avoid conflict. It's not something that I enjoy or feel that I'm really strong in dealing with. And just, I go about it a different way. So that one was an interesting one. That kind of leads me to some of the aha moments. Going back to the conflict style questionnaire, the interesting thing I found is that in personal settings in my life with certain people, family members, my avoidance score was really high. And I can see that why, that's more of a other other personal issues. But when I was looking at it and when I was thinking about it and answering it as how I would deal with, someone that I'm interacting with now as an adult, um, or working with in the workplace, the score was for conflict style was as far as avoidance was really low. So I kind of, while I know in personal settings I avoid conflict, it was interesting to see that when I have to in a professional setting, I can do a lot better. I mean, meaning I won't avoid as much as I do with personal situations. And then the other biggest um, aha moment that I realized in doing this, in writing this paper and analyzing leadership style, is that while I've never had a official title as manager or leader, I am doing a lot more in leadership and management than I would think. So I'm more of a leader than maybe I give myself credit for. And a lot of that is, just from my background and experience working in higher education, being a counselor and coordinating and being a part of a lot of student support service programs. A lot of times, even though your title doesn't say that you're the manager, it's kind of like what ends up happening and what's expected, or what has been expected of me is to take charge. And I personally feel like that was a natural instinct for me because I care so much about the cause in terms of, getting services out to students, making sure, people around me are trained, that I'm trained. And so taking uh, the lead on a lot of things is kind of a natural thing for me. And even though I necessarily wouldn't seek out a manager position, or I've never really sought out for my own career trajectory administration type of positions. So, um, another thing that I've realized, not just with doing this paper, but also being in the social work program, after after being in 15 years within higher education, is that higher education and what I've been training and doing in work in the student services type of field and counseling is very much like social work. And a lot of the concepts and programming and ways of thinking in terms of being equitable and making sure that we're bringing down barriers to make education more accessible for a student, or even finding, career resources more accessible through college is definitely in alignment with a lot of the social work values. So that's kind of nice. It makes sense. And I think I might have answered this in what I was saying before, but I I don't necessarily want to go into an administrative type of position. I don't see myself necessarily seeking out executive type of positions within organizations. But I think because of my natural instinct to be a leader, if it's something that I'm really passionate about, which is, helping those who are traditionally underserved, I become a leader naturally. And I also have a entrepreneurial type of mindset. So I think what I want to do once I'm a bit more established as a therapist and have a better understanding about mental health needs in the community or with certain populations, I see myself being a part of or maybe creating some type of maybe macro or meso type of program or system. Don't know what that would be, whether it's, like a group practice or that specializes in a certain topic, or if it's a service that's related to mental health. I see myself being a part of that or creating something like that. So in turn, that means I would be a manager or a leader or some type of executive in that sense. So yeah, this was a really interesting assignment and definitely relatable to what we do in social work. Thank you.